You know, whenever somebody asks me what my favorite book on this shelf over here is, my answer changes. And today it's After the Long Goodbye from Ghost in the Shell. This is a fun book that stars Bato and his dog. Takes place in the movie universe, if I believe correctly. And it's a fine book because Bato is a character I think needs more love. So there you go. That's my book recommendation for the week. Let's put that away. Ba-da-ba-ba-da. Anyway, hey there, kiddos, and welcome back to the channel. I'm Uncle Frank. I hope that you are having a great day. And in today's video, I'm sitting back in a not squeaky chair, relaxing and having a little conversation with all of you guys about Wonders of the First. What fell? Anyway, we're talking about Wonders of the First. The NFT AI TCG that is going to become the best thing ever. Absolutely blow away to the moon. Investment of the year, only ever going up TCG. A while back, I did a video where it wasn't really a review, it was a product opening video, and I was almost immediately hyper negative about it because the card quality was bad. It used AI art. It looked bad. It felt bad. And I've had nothing positive to say or think about it ever since. Very rarely to think about it too. That's the worst part, is like there was nothing, there was no news, there was no further engagement beyond that initial video. But I will say that that initial video did have a lot of engagement. There was a lot of people in the comments of that video and on Discord, and I even got an email, who were assuring me that I was wrong. Wonders of the First is not low effort. It's not low quality. The AI art is nothing to worry about. It's a good investment. If I hold on to some boxes, I'll be happy in a year. It can only go up. Heard a lot of stuff like that from passionate people who did very much like it. But I'm willing to bet that they liked it because their first experience was very different from mine. And that's the thing, you know, first experiences, your first impressions, they matter a lot. They matter more than you might think. You know, your initial gut reaction, the initial opinions you form on anything, any interaction, whether it be meeting a new person, getting a new job, watching a movie, playing a video game, reading a book, whatever it is, that initial opinion you have of it is going to shape any attempt to form an opinion later on, as impartial as you might try to be. You know, a good example of this is the fact that there's loads of video games from when I was a kid that I love. Some of them have stood the test of time and are amazing, even to this day. On the Game Boy, for instance, on the Game Boy Color, there's Shantae. Shantae is, in my opinion, the single best Game Boy Color game, period. It's got beautiful animations, got that nice balance of difficulty in the game, wonderful world to explore, great music. It's just overall really solid, and I wish it wasn't so goddamn expensive. Another game that I really liked for the Game Boy was, what's it called? Oh yeah, Animorphs. There's an Animorphs game for the Game Boy, and it's awful. It's a Pokemon clone, and it's bad. But I loved it when I was a kid because I was a huge fan of Animorphs, and when I heard that there was an Animorphs video game, of course I tried it, and I loved it despite the glaring flaws. Going forward, it took me a while to realize that Animorphs is actually just dog shit. It wasn't until years later when I looked back and I was like, oh, this is actually awful. Some Yu-Gi-Oh games, there's a Yu-Gi-Oh game on there called Dark Duel Stories that I must have put easily over 200 hours into. It's a really shitty dueling simulator for the Game Boy Color, okay? It's a really bad game. But because I'm a kid and I liked Yu-Gi-Oh, I played it basically non-stop when it first came out. I love that little bastard. Meanwhile, there's games that a lot of people will just agree are great. And because your first impression with it was overly negative, you might not have liked it. You know, Call of Duty Modern Warfare 3, for instance, with me is, I don't know, whatever it was, I just did not like that game when it first came out. And a lot of people assured me it was amazing. And I was like, not so. First impressions matter. First impressions really matter. And they will form they will, I won't, they won't form, but they will dictate kind of how you feel towards something going forward. More importantly, if that first impression is reinforced by later exposure to that thing, then your bias becomes stronger towards your gut feelings in regards to how you felt towards that thing on first impression. It's late in the day. Sorry. Now, why does that matter? Well, because recently I did actually have a chance to sit down and actually play Wonders of the First, like an earnest attempt at playing it. A buddy of mine likes the game, and he assured me it's actually really fun. And he sat me down, taught me the basics, and I played a few games with him. And boy, howdy, was that not fun. That was not great at all. The rules were, I don't want to say they were convoluted, but they were not, they didn't feel intuitive. Well, this is not a review breakdown video. This is a bias video, I suppose, or a first impressions video. Combine that gameplay experience. If that introduction to the gameplay was my first introduction to Wonders of the First, it would have just been okay, I tried this out. The game's not that great, but it's probably not bad. But it wasn't my first impression. My first impression was these are really low quality cards with AI art. And I know, some people like AI art, some people hate it. I'm really in the middle. I don't really have a strong opinion one way or the other. I don't really have any skin in the game. I'm not an artist. I do believe that if you are resorting to using AI for the backbone of whatever project you're trying to put out, whether that be video games, art, cards, etc., then you probably don't have the passion necessary to make it succeed in the first place. And I say that because I have seen some genuinely low budget video games and card games created by people who were just really passionate about what they were making. There's a JoJo's Bizarre Adventure game that came out forever ago for Stardust Crusaders. And it's really low budget, but it was made by like one super passionate fan back in the day. I played it once and it was kind of janky, but it was fun. It was a full game. There was a Magic the Gathering set, or a Magic the Gathering set produced by a guy who just produced his own cards in his own packs and boxes back in the day that Wizards of the Coast actually had to send a cease and desist order to. But he had his own art, his own card layout, everything. It was just Magic at home, right? There are entire fan films, books, comics, everything. If you are passionate enough about something to really want it to succeed, then you will do it regardless of what your actual budget is. So when people say that, oh, I can't make my own card game because I don't have an art budget, so I'm going to resort to AI, I don't care if you don't have an art budget. You could probably pay some guy, here's $25, give me a bunch of stick figure art. If you like your game enough, if you're confident enough in that game's core mechanics, stick figure art will work just fine. You have to have that real passion, okay? Anyway, this isn't about that. This is about first impressions and biases and all that wonderful stuff. Basically, what I'm trying to say here is sometimes first impressions can lead you astray, and you can find out later that something that you had a strong opinion about was different from how you felt. Again, I really liked Dark Duel stories. I really liked Animorphs when I was a kid. As I grew up and actually went back to look at those games objectively, they were kind of bad. Not all of my opinions were wrong from when I was a kid. Shantae, I thought it was amazing. Shantae continues to be amazing. Legend of Zelda, Link's Awakening, thought it was great. Continues to be great. Pokemon Emerald, I always thought was pretty awesome. It continues to be the best game in the series. Don't at me. But as those first impressions are reinforced by further exposure to that thing, it becomes very easy for you, especially the more experience you get in this kind of thing, to kind of form a list of red flags and things to look out for that will tip your opinion one way or the other, that make it very easy for you to make a on-the-spot judgment about something. There's a lot of card games I've looked at over the years where I'm able to tell almost instantly whether or not I'd like it based on a few key factors. Some things to look out for is overly complicated card layouts. If there's way too much going on in the card, I'm probably not going to like the game. Hyper simplistic card layouts are also a problem. If there's like one or two factors of the card itself beyond just the art and the name, I'm probably not going to be a huge fan. I've noticed that those are the two extremes. It has to be somewhere in the middle. IP-based card games, for the longest time, Those have basically been poison to the industry. For video games, man, am I not a fan of first-person shooters. I am not a fan of racing games. I'm not a fan of sports games because this is because I've had a lot of experience with those games where I've just not enjoyed them. So my first impressions on those can just be as simple as, what genre is it? Is it a racing game? Well, then it has to be a really good racing game for me to like it. And don't get me wrong, it's possible for me to like a car game. One of my favorite video games of all time is Crazy Taxi, where you're just running around in a car. It's kind of a racing game, but it's not really a racing game. You're racing the clock. So it's possible for your strong biases to break through with a really good first impression. I was exposed to Crazy Taxi when I was really young, and that little bastard just ran away with my heart. And I've hated racing games since way before then. It just was that good, that enjoyable. So biases and first impressions can go a long way towards either formulating your opinions on something, but also helping you just decide really quickly at a glance, is this something that's going to be worth my time and effort just to try to get into? And for some people, it can be you can be steered wrong by your opinions and your biases. You can find out later that something you skipped out on was actually great. That's fine. Trying new things and trying things that you thought you would hate is part of life. But recognizing what you will and won't enjoy in things at a quick glance, I think that's also a skill worth cultivating because it can help you avoid a lot of, not wasted time, because hobbies and stuff I don't think is wasted if you're genuinely enjoying yourself, but it can help you save more of your time for the things that you will genuinely enjoy in the long term. So I suppose that's where this video is going. Anyway, thank you guys so much for watching. Please like, share, subscribe, leave a comment down below if you agree with me, disagree with me, think I'm crazy, whatever. Check out the Discord, check out the Patreon. Thank you guys so much for watching, and have a great day.